Rachel, and sorry if you can hear the sounds of Dan playing PlayStation next door, but he's having fun, so I'm just gonna let him do it. Following on from my last video, I figured I would make another one talking a little bit about my university experience because, you know, it was a huge part of my life and there's a hell of a lot I could talk about, and a hell of a lot I will talk about. But today I'm going to be focusing on why I chose Warwick Uni to go to. You know, there's literally hundreds of universities in the UK and I pretty much could have taken my pick of any of them, so you know, why Warwick? As you might know from some of my other videos, I didn't always want to go to uni, but when I finally did decide to go, there was a lot of pressure on me from teachers, from my head of sixth form and things like that, to apply to Oxford or Cambridge, and I just didn't want to. I didn't feel like it would be right for me. I didn't feel like they'd be the right sort of people. I didn't feel like that would be the best sort of learning environment for me. I wanted so much more out of university than just a good reputation. The things I was mostly looking for were that I didn't want to go to this typical kind of like a rich kid university because, you know, I'm from a very working class family and everyone's kind of like really down to earth. I think my brother was one of the first people like ever in my family to go to uni. I was like the second or something. So I didn't want to be around people who were from too much of a different background to me. And obviously there are a lot of like people from very well off families at Warwick, but on the whole I found people there very kind of like relatable, very down to earth, and very kind of accepting of people being from like all sorts of different backgrounds, which I really liked about it. I also knew I wanted to get away from Yorkshire and just kind of the north in general because I hadn't had good experiences there. I wanted to go somewhere else, I wanted to meet new kinds of people, and I was just kind of excited to get away and see a little bit more of the world. I wanted to go to a uni with like a really good social scene, but not just like going out and getting drunk every other night, because that's not really my kind of thing. Like I do enjoy going out, but it's not, you know, the main part of my social life. I want to go to university with good societies and groups of people, you know, that actually bonded over shared interests. Like I was thinking about joining some drama societies. I eventually ended up joining and being a big part of PhotoSoc, which is a photography society, and you know, those guys from my first year onwards basically became like my family, and that's exactly the kind of thing I was looking for, and that's exactly what I found. But you know, like going to a good university, like academically, was really important to me as well, because I wanted to make sure that, you know, I was going to be spending a lot of money on this, even in terms of like student loans. But I wanted to make sure I was getting a decent education, and I wanted to make sure I was being challenged enough. My A-level grades were very, very good, so I could have gone to pretty much my choice of universities, which is why I didn't want to go to like somewhere, you know, like Leeds Med or Sheffield Hallam or something like that, because I didn't feel like I'd be challenged enough there. I just didn't feel like that was the right environment for me. I don't know exactly what it was about Warwick that first appealed to me, but I remembered ordering tons and tons of prospectuses and them all coming and me just looking through them and feeling really overwhelmed. But there was something about Warwick that just really stood out to me. When I applied, it was still like under 50 years old, so I felt that it would probably be like quite progressive. It had a really good reputation for a university that's so young. I also liked that it had quite a good international reputation, and that there were literally people there from all over the world, because I figured it would give me a chance to meet people who, you know, I wouldn't normally get a chance to if I'd stayed in Penistone. I had no idea what course I wanted to do, like, at all, but I remember I went to the open day and I was mostly looking at sociology and philosophy. Sociology, I immediately was just like, no, not a chance, because I knew kind of on that day that I wanted to go to Warwick. I then just had to figure out a course, and I vetoed sociology because the lecturer guy that we met and who gave the talk on the course was so dull and so boring, and it was just a terrible first impression of the department. The philosophy course I eventually decided against, just because it's a little bit more focused on the history of philosophy than like anything that would actually be useful to me now in a job. I knew that like a history of philosophy degree wouldn't teach me anything useful that I would be able to use in a job in the future, or at least not the kind of job that I wanted, so I said no to that. On the open day I did the whole like campus tour thing, and I just started to look at the place and I was thinking, you know, like I can see myself here, I can see myself living here, this looks like home, and it just kind of felt right, and I started to get quite excited about it. And that same day I got to speak to loads of Warwick students, like current students there, and I just kind of like fell in love with the people as well, because they all seemed like people who I wanted to talk to more and get to know, and they felt like people who I could be friends with. I spoke to one girl in particular about a lot of the drama societies and things like that she was involved in, and it just got me really, really excited. Everyone was just so like kind and accepting, and like as much as I was asking questions about them and their experience, they were asking questions about me, and it just felt like it sounds stupid. I felt like for the first time in my life I was actually having a conversation with my peers and not just being spoken to. I did go to a couple of other open days, like I went to Lincoln Uni's open day, I went to Leeds Uni as well, and they just didn't feel right. Like I really hated Leeds as a uni. I didn't like the campus, I didn't like the lecture halls, I didn't really like what I saw of the social scene because it just didn't feel like it was very me. Nowhere else gave me that feeling of that I could just like be a part of something really awesome, you know? I feel like uni is this time to sort of like discover who you are, and you meet so many amazing people that all have some things in common with you but also have so many different experiences that you can learn so much from them. You get this chance to try out new things and figure out what you like and what you don't like, figure out who you are and who you want to be, and it's important that during that time you're in the right environment, because otherwise it can be really stifling. Like, I'm a big believer in knowing when something's right or wrong for me. Like, I kind of get these gut feelings and just go with it, you know, like when I met Dan, I just felt like he was right for me, and when I went to Warwick, I felt like it was right for me. Even when we found this flat, we just felt it was right for us. And it's just that kind of gut feeling that I do always trust quite a lot. And I trusted it in this case and it was right. I didn't get that gut feeling when I picked my course, which was biomed, which should have been a big warning sign for me, but stupidly I ignored it and it was the wrong choice. But that's a whole other video. But either way, picking your university, I would say, is a really, really big thing, and having to do that at 18 is like crazy amounts of pressure. But it's also really exciting too, because you're literally picking where you're going to start your new life. I don't think you should pick somewhere just because your teachers say you should go, or your parents say you should go, or it's where your friends are going, or because it's close to home. You should figure out what it is exactly that you want from a university experience, then figure out where you can get it, and then go there if it feels right. But anyway, that's just how I went about picking Warwick University, and honestly it was the best place for me. I absolutely loved it. Out of the 5 years, I spent 4 years there, and it was fantastic. I mean, obviously I had some bad times as well, and it wasn't always perfect, but looking back, I would not want to have picked anywhere else because I absolutely loved my time there, and it was exactly the right place for me. But yeah, that's just my little story about why I picked Warwick University. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear more Warwick Uni or just uni in general stories from me, because I have a hell of a lot of them. Like I say, 5 years of my life were there, so that's a pretty big chunk. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.